At 700 MHz, radio waves pass through brick and mortar with minimal resistance. But step up to the millimeter wave bands, and that same signal hits a modern glass window and scatters. Telecommunications providers are aggressively pushing into sub-6 GHz and millimeter wave frequencies. These higher frequency bands provide the spectral width required for high-capacity data transfer. But this reliance on higher frequencies creates a severe path loss problem. The traditional macrocellular approach, broadcasting a signal from an outdoor tower to penetrate the interior of a building, rapidly degrades as the frequency scales up. Modern networks are required to guarantee ultra-reliable, low-latency communications and enhanced mobile broadband. Fulfilling those mandates means ensuring consistent connections regardless of the user's location. To solve this, we will analyze empirical data from the National Institute of Standards and Technology, deconstruct the physical phenomena of the indoor RF environment, and examine how spatial architectures adapt to these constraints. Treating a building's physical environment as a passive backdrop ignores the primary source of signal degradation. In these frequency regimes, the architecture itself must be actively engineered around. To quantify exactly how much signal is lost through building parameters, the National Institute of Standards and Technology conducted a series of empirical radio mapping experiments inside large urban structures. Researchers first evaluated massive concrete and steel environments, mapping signal penetration across sweeping footprints, like Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. They then moved to dense enclosed public spaces, deploying a matrix of transmitters and receivers throughout the Washington, D.C. Convention Center. This graph maps the received signal power in decibel milliwatts against the distance moving inward from the exterior. Across all structures tested, the macro signals plunge by a catastrophic 50 to 70 decibels as they reach the interior core. Look specifically at the high-frequency bands between 900 and 1800 MHz. The attenuation is noticeably more severe. At these frequencies, the dense concrete aggressively absorbs the RF energy, converting it directly into heat and killing the signal. These deep indoor dead zones completely sever the public safety networks that emergency responders rely on. During the rescue efforts at the World Trade Center, the density of the towers effectively isolated the interior environment from outdoor macro networks. When external signals cannot penetrate a structure's shell, tactical coordination fails. Unreliable radio communication directly endangers the lives of the personnel operating inside. Heavy concrete structures effectively act as massive RF black holes. Relying solely on external macrocells to illuminate them is mathematically and physically impossible. Beyond concrete, modern green architecture introduces an equally severe propagation barrier, low emissivity or low-E glass. Low-E windows feature a microscopically thin coating, thinner than a human hair, composed of precisely applied metal compounds. This metallic layer serves a distinct environmental purpose. It reflects ultraviolet light and infrared heat away in the summer and traps generated heat inside during the winter. But that same metallic barrier acts as a highly aggressive reflector for radio frequencies. This chart compares RF path loss through different materials. Uncoated glass introduces a negligible path loss of 1 decibel. Apply a low-E coating, and at the 3.5 GHz frequency, that loss surges to 25 decibels. Pushing into millimeter wave bands drives attenuation higher. At 28 GHz, low-E glass induces a 27.4 decibel drop. At 60 GHz, the loss reaches 33.2 decibels, resulting in near-total signal blockage. By prioritizing thermal efficiency, modern building facades wrap the architecture in a continuous Faraday cage, perfectly insulating the occupants from external networks. Even with these barriers, a fraction of the RF energy does manage to penetrate the perimeter. Once inside, that severely degraded signal enters a highly complex environment. This 3D ray tracing visualization models multipath propagation. A single incoming radio wave interacts with the physical layout, fracturing into dozens of distinct paths that arrive at the receiver with varying delays and phase shifts. The first variable is absorption. When these fractured waves strike dense materials with high moisture content or thick concrete, they surrender their energy entirely and decay. The second is reflection. Waves striking smooth, dense surfaces like internal glass dividers or metal server racks bounce sharply, altering their trajectory without immediately losing all their power. The third is scattering. When waves hit irregular surfaces or clusters of small objects, like office cubicles or even people, the energy diffuses in multiple unpredictable directions. Finally, there is diffraction. This allows the edge of a radio wave to literally bend around sharp corners and solid architectural barriers. Historically, this multipath chaos caused destructive interference and signal fading. Yet in dense indoor spaces, diffraction and reflection are often the only physical mechanisms allowing a device without a direct line of sight to stay connected. Accurately predicting indoor network performance requires engineering for this specific 3D spatial chaos. Simply boosting the transmission power from an outdoor tower will not correct the complex physics happening inside the building. To survive these extreme path loss environments, modern networks require advanced hardware solutions at the transmission point, specifically massive MIMO and explicit beamforming. Legacy antennas rely on a static omnidirectional broadcast. They spray radio frequency energy in a wide circle, wasting the vast majority of that power on immediate wall absorption and random scattering. Beamforming discards this scattershot approach. By utilizing an array of multiple antennas, the system constantly processes channel state information sent back from the user device to algorithmically calculate the precise phase and amplitude needed. This dynamic feedback physically shapes the radiation pattern. The broad omnidirectional wave collapses, concentrating the RF energy into a tight, highly targeted beam directed precisely at the receiver. Because the system can steer this beam, it can intentionally utilize the multipath environment. It can target a reflective surface to bounce a signal around a heavy concrete pillar, reaching a device hidden from direct view. Beamforming does not fight the multipath environment, it exploits it. By leveraging spatial diversity, it drastically improves the signal-to-noise ratio and allows multiple users to be served simultaneously on the same frequency. Even with the most advanced beamforming algorithms, it remains impossible to brute force a high-frequency millimeter wave network through feet of heavy concrete and reflective low-E glass from the outside in. The final architectural mandate for modern infrastructure is the deployment of dedicated inside-out networks. This takes the form of a distributed antenna system or a small cell mesh. These systems operate completely behind the architectural perimeter, bypassing the attenuation wall by generating and distributing the RF signal directly from within the core of the building. Planning these intricate, multi-layered topologies cannot be done through approximation. Designing a functional DAS requires meticulous 3D ray tracing simulations to map every material, to map every reflection, and every diffraction zone. Ignoring these physical constraints results in total signal loss. Whether providing high-speed enterprise broadband or mission-critical public safety links, the network is non-functional if the physical environment is not actively accounted for. The modern wireless engineer cannot treat the physical architecture and the RF network as separate entities. They must be designed, analyzed, and deployed as one integrated spatial system.